imagine a being who witnessed the Big Bang, a villain who conquered empires before humans discovered fire, a hero who fought wars before Atlantis sank beneath the waves. Today we are going to be looking at ancient DC superheroes who are older than planet Earth. Let's start with the true ancients. Clocking in at a mind-boggling 13 billion years old, we have a tie. Both hailing from DC Comics, we have Metron, the godlike observer who travels through time and space on his Mobius chair, constantly seeking knowledge. And then there are the Guardians of the Universe, the immortal protectors of the Green Lantern Corps. These ancient beings have seen the universe evolve from its infancy, making them some of the oldest and wisest entities in existence. Metron and the Guardians of the Universe are two of the most powerful and influential beings in the DC Universe. They have both existed for billions of years, witnessing the rise and fall of countless civilizations. However, they have used their power in very different ways. Metron is a solitary figure who seeks knowledge for its own sake. He is often seen as a neutral observer, but he has also been known to intervene in the affairs of mortals. Metron's Mobius chair allows him to travel through time and space, and to access any information he desires. He has used this power to learn about the history of the universe, and to understand the nature of reality itself. Metron's knowledge is vast, and his understanding of the universe is profound. He has seen the rise and fall of countless civilizations, and he has witnessed the birth and death of stars. He has also seen the good and the bad in humanity, and he has learned that the universe is a complex and often unpredictable place. Metron's wisdom is often sought by other beings, and he has been known to offer advice to both heroes and villains. However, he is always careful to remain impartial. He believes that it is not his place to judge others, and that each individual must make their own choices. Metron's dedication to knowledge is unwavering. He is always seeking to learn more about the universe, and he is never satisfied with what he knows. He believes that there is always more to learn, and that the pursuit of knowledge is one of the most important things in life. Metron's knowledge and wisdom make him a valuable asset to the DC Universe. He is often consulted by other beings when they need advice or guidance. He is also a powerful ally to the forces of good, and he has used his knowledge and power to help defeat evil. The Guardians of the Universe, on the other hand, are more proactive in their use of power. They have created the Green Lantern Corps, a peacekeeping force that protects the universe from evil. The Guardians are also responsible for creating many of the powerful artifacts that are used by the Green Lanterns, such as the Power Rings and the Central Power Battery. The Guardians are a council of wise and powerful beings who have dedicated their lives to protecting the universe. They are often seen as the moral compass of the DC Universe, and their influence can be felt throughout the cosmos. The Guardians of the Universe are a diverse group of beings, each with their own unique abilities and perspectives. They are united by their commitment to justice and their desire to protect the universe from harm. The Guardians have used their power to create a vast network of Green Lanterns, who are spread throughout the universe and are responsible for maintaining order and peace. The Guardians are also responsible for creating the Book of Oa, which contains the history of the universe and the secrets of the Green Lantern Corps. The Guardians of the Universe are one of the most powerful and influential forces in the DC Universe. They have been responsible for shaping the course of history, and their influence can be felt throughout the cosmos. They are a symbol of hope and justice, and they will continue to protect the universe for generations to come. At a sprightly 225 million years young, John Johns, the Martian Manhunter, is a being of immense power and sorrow. Born into a utopian Martian society millions of years ago, he was known as Ma'alefa'ak, and his people, the Green Martians, possessed a natural empathy and telepathic connection that fostered harmony. However, this peaceful existence was shattered by the rise of the White Martians, a subspecies driven by aggression and fear. They engineered a curse of fire that exploited a deep-seated Martian vulnerability to flames, decimating their own kind and leaving John as the sole survivor of this ancient race. His escape from the Martian genocide was nothing short of miraculous. Through a tragic accident involving the human scientist Dr. Saul Erdel and his experimental teleportation technology, John was ripped from his dying world and flung across the vastness of space to Earth. Stranded and alone, he grappled with the loss of his family, his people, and his entire civilization. He adopted the human guise of John Jones, a detective in the fictional town of Middletown, USA, using this identity to integrate into human society and secretly protect his new home. Jon's powers are a reflection of his Martian physiology and his deep connection to the psychic energy that permeates the universe. He is a shapeshifter of extraordinary ability, capable of altering his form at will, from mimicking the appearance of any human to transforming into monstrous creatures or even becoming intangible. His telepathy is equally formidable, allowing him to read minds, control thoughts, and even communicate across vast distances. He possesses superhuman strength, flight, and Martian vision, which grants him heat vision and other optic abilities. However, this incredible power comes with a profound weakness. Fire, the primal fear instilled by the White Martian's curse of fire, remains, leaving him vulnerable to both physical flames and psychic attacks that exploit this deep-seated trauma. Despite his immense power, Jon is a deeply compassionate being. He is driven by a profound sense of justice and a desire to prevent others from suffering the same loss he endured. He has been a core member of the Justice League, often serving as its heart and conscience. His wisdom and empathy make him a valuable leader, and his unique perspective as an outsider allows him to offer insights that others might miss. Yuga Khan, the very name whispers terror throughout the cosmos. This ancient and monstrous being is not merely old, but immortal, his existence stretching back over 500,000 years, a testament to his terrifying power and insatiable hunger for domination. He is the father of both Highfather, the benevolent ruler of New Genesis, and Darkseid, the tyrannical god of Apocalypse, but dwarfs them both in sheer power and ambition. Yuga Khan was once the ruler of Apocalypse, a world he forged in fire and ruled with an iron fist. His reign was one of unparalleled brutality and oppression, his every whim enforced by legions of monstrous parademons and fearsome warriors. But Yuga Khan's ambitions extended far beyond the conquest of a single world. He craved ultimate power, the power of the source itself, the primal energy that fuels all of existence. Driven by this insatiable thirst, Yuga Khan launched a campaign of terror across the universe, consuming entire worlds to fuel his growing power. He sought to breach the Source Wall, the barrier that separates the known universe from the Source, believing that by claiming its power, he would become the Supreme Being. His quest led him to the very edge of reality, where he confronted the Source itself. But the Source is not to be trifled with. Yuga Khan's hubris and insatiable hunger for power proved his undoing. The Source, in its infinite wisdom, saw the danger he posed and imprisoned him within the Source Wall, transforming him into a Promethean giant, a being of immense size and power, but forever trapped within the cosmic barrier. Despite his imprisonment, Yuga Khan's legend lives on. He is a figure of dread, a reminder of the ultimate cost of unchecked ambition and the destructive potential of power without compassion. Even Darkseid, his own son and a being of immense power himself, fears the day his father might break free from his cosmic prison. Darkseid. The name itself evokes images of tyranny, oppression, and the relentless pursuit of domination. He is the embodiment of evil in the DC universe, a godlike being of immense power and cruelty who has plagued heroes for millennia. While his exact age remains shrouded in mystery, it is estimated that Darkseid is at least 250,000 years old, his existence stretching back to the earliest days of the Fourth World. And like his father, Yuga Khan, he is functionally immortal, his life force tied to the very fabric of Apocalypse itself. Born Uxas, he was the younger son of Yuga Khan and Hegra, and from his earliest days, he craved power. He murdered his brother Drax to claim the power of the Omega Force, a cosmic energy that grants him near omnipotence. This act transformed him into the being known as Darkseid, a hulking figure with granite gray skin and burning red eyes that radiate his malevolent power. Darkseid rules Apocalypse, a nightmarish world of fire and brimstone with an iron fist. His reign is one of absolute terror, his subjects living in constant fear of his wrath. He commands legions of parademons, monstrous flying creatures that serve as his soldiers and enforcers, and he is served by a cadre of powerful lieutenants, including the sadistic Granny Goodness, the cunning Desaad, and his own son, the brutal Calibac. But Darkseid's ambitions extend far beyond the conquest of Apocalypse. He seeks to conquer the entire universe, to impose his will upon all of creation. He believes that free will is an illusion, a weakness that prevents beings from achieving their true potential. His ultimate goal is to obtain the anti-life equation, a mathematical formula that would grant him complete control over the minds and wills of all living beings. Darkseid's power is nearly limitless. He possesses superhuman strength, speed, and durability, and he is virtually invulnerable to harm. His most fearsome weapon is the Omega Beams, fiery rays of energy that he can fire from his eyes. These beams can disintegrate, teleport, or even resurrect their targets, making them a truly devastating force. Darkseid is a constant threat to the heroes of the DC universe, particularly Superman, whom he sees as the ultimate symbol of hope and freedom. He has clashed with the Justice League countless times, his schemes often threatening to plunge the universe into darkness. His relentless pursuit of power and his unwavering belief in his own superiority make him a truly formidable opponent.
Number 10, Mistress Death. To call this character evil is a bit of a miscommunication. She is just a law of the universe, a force of nature, a cosmic being carrying out her duty. But to many people, she is an evil entity because, losing a loved one is one of the most emotionally painful things we can go through. No matter if you see her as evil or just doing her job, she has been around since the creation of the universe, so there is no doubt that she is ancient. So I'm keeping her here at the top of the list because she isn't entirely evil and has comforted and even saved a few people on a few occasions, but still brings the end of the line. She keeps balance in the universe, taking away life while other cosmic entities give it. Also, she's a big part of the reason Thanos has done all the horrible things he's done in Marvel Comics, so there's that as well to make her seem a bit more evil.
Coming up on the 9th spot is Null. That's with a K. And this fella is bad news. He's an eldritch entity, the god of darkness, ruler of the void, and oh yeah, homeboy created the symbiotes. Any evil that's come from the many symbiotes can all be traced back to Null, who rules over the hive mind. When you stop and consider just how much suffering the symbiotes have been responsible for, how much damage and destruction, and all of that can be pointed back to Null, you gotta figure that is a pretty powerful ancient evil. Decked out with some sweet symbiote armor and an impressive sword, Null has his sights set on galactic conquest with his symbiote army. And honestly, he was making a pretty good play for the throne were he not stopped by Eddie Brock in a truly staggering duel of cosmic proportions. Sure, yeah, you might have birthed the symbiote race, but it's hard for anyone to top the guy who made symbiotes cool in the first place. You can't beat Venom. He's got his own theme song by Eminem. How many of us can say the same?
Number 8, Selene. While a lot of beings on this list are cosmic and godlike in their nature, Selene is a mutant external and a magician born 17,000 years ago. She gained the ability to psionically drain the life forces of other human beings into herself, gaining their memories, and if she fully drains them, turning that individual into dust. Yikes. Essentially, she is a vampire, just without any of the blood draining stuff. Using this drained energy, she not only sustains herself, but can grant herself superhuman levels of physical strength, speed, stamina, agility, reflexes, and durability, but that's not her only powers. As an external, she also possesses immortality, allowing her to even resurrect herself. Since she has been around for so long, she is quite the adept sorcerer and can do a hell of a lot with that power. She has demonstrated telepathy, telekinesis, pyrokinesis, and the knack for being just pretty sinister.
Number 7, Shumagorath. Now maybe you remember Shumagorath from a star-studded appearance in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Except psych! Due to a licensing issue, that was actually Gargantos. But it was supposed to be Shumagorath, so you were right to think that. Marvel's resident Lovecraftian god, who's lived for millions of years beyond the stars. Even older than the Marvel Universe itself. Quite literally, if you want to get a bit metatextual with it, since Shumagorath began life as a villain for the Conan mythos, tying itself into the greater Cthulhu mythos with H.P. Lovecraft, who was a pretty good friend of Robert E. Howard back in the day. It's a pretty interesting backstory and makes sense since Shumagorath is an all-powerful multi-dimensional entity. It only makes sense that it exists across the multiverse in ours as well. Shumagorath is about as powerful as a Lovecraftian god can get, boasting all the usual feats: incredible strength, difficult to put down, all kinds of psychokinetic abilities that leads him into all sorts of clashes with everybody's favorite sorcerer, Doctor Strange.
Number 6, the Black Winter. You know, Galactus almost made this list, but why choose him when you can choose a bigger version of him? Where Galactus consumes individual planets, the Black Winter devours entire realities. The Black Winter, the Star Plague, the Blight Storm, the Rot Blizzard, or the Fimbulwinter, for the Norse mythology people out there, was the one who brought the end of of the 6th iteration of the universe, leaving only Galen of the planet Ta, and that's the guy who becomes Galactus. When the Black Winter arrives in the Marvel Universe in the latest run of Thor, Galactus turns an All-Father Thor, who possesses the Thor Force, into his Herald of Thunder, and it's awesome, granting him the power cosmic, and an attack from this Thor only stops the Black Winter for a total of 14 seconds. That's how powerful this multiversal entity is. Luckily though, at this time, the Black Winter isn't here to destroy the universe, he is just here for his herald, Galactus. Luckily, Thor turns Galactus into a massive power cosmic explosion that destroys the Black Winter. It's all just super awesome. Definitely check it out.
Number 5, Dormammu. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Dormammu, yeah, you get it. You saw the movie, you know what I'm doing. Doctor Strange's greatest nemesis is also one of the most powerful ancient evils in the Marvel Universe across the multiverse. Ruler of the Dark Dimension, Dormammu is an interdimensional entity capable of existing for eons, capable of all sorts of impressive magical feats like conjuration, being able to summon creatures under his dominion, even bending the law of physics to his will. Dormammu is already crazy strong, but it's only amplified more if he's in the Dark Dimension, his home turf. Now he doesn't just get a home field advantage by being there because the sun's not in his eyes. He's able to siphon energy directly from the Dark Dimension to fuel himself, as well as draining his followers for their energy. Dormammu is the perfect foil for a hero like Doctor Strange, an incredibly powerful, omnipotent being who can't be defeated outright with traditional brawls or fisticuffs, and needs to be outsmarted and outmaneuvered. Luckily, the Sorcerer Supreme usually has a handle on it. Usually.
Number 4, the Chaos King. The entity known as Amatsu Mikubashi originally was portrayed as the Japanese god of evil, but in actuality, he was an offshoot of Oblivion, the cosmic entity embodying the void that existed before the universe began. Because of course he was. An incarnation of the primordial darkness and chaos that existed before the universe, the Chaos King exists as a dark counterpart to the cosmic being Eternity. That by itself makes Amatsu an incredibly powerful being on a cosmic level. In a mission to bring everything to chaos, he started waging war on all the gods of every pantheon in the universe, and he actually did defeat and take control of almost all of them. It took a combined effort of heroes plus Hercules, who was amped up to incredibly insane godlike levels, to take him down in the Chaos War storyline. Absolutely check it out if you haven't already, it's fantastic.
Number 3, Mephisto. If you're not a big comics fan, maybe you recognize the name Mephisto from countless Reddit threads and headlines saying he'd be appearing in the next episode of WandaVision somewhere. Remember how convinced we all were? Simpler days. So just who is Mephisto actually? Well, basically for all intents and purposes, he's the Marvel Comics version of Satan. Where things get incredibly confusing is that he's not actually Satan, because that's a separate character in the Marvel Universe, but he's his own evil, powerful entity, and boy is he that. Mephisto is a long-standing evil, responsible for a lot of some of the biggest suffering in the Marvel Universe. He captured Doctor Doom's mother's soul, he bonded Johnny Blaze to the Ghost Rider, and those are just some of his lesser feats. Mephisto is capable of full-scale reality alteration, like when he infamously changed the entire Marvel timeline to erase Peter and Mary Jane's marriage in exchange for healing Aunt May. Also, he could nip a timeline in the bud where he was defeated by Spider-Man's daughter. You gotta respect that level of pettiness. He hasn't shown up in the MCU yet, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's coming soon. Just give it some time. One more day, maybe.
And in at number 2 is Sidorak. Sidorak, also known as the Destroyer, Lord of Oblivion, and Master of the Raging Storm, is an immensely powerful extra-dimensional being hailing from the Crimson Cosmos. He was worshipped as a god and a demon by the primitive humans of Earth until he was banished back to the Crimson Cosmos. As the Destroyer, Sidorak's main goal is to just cause destruction and raise destructive power. To do this from the Crimson Cosmos, and also to win a wager with 8 other deities like himself, he created the Crimson Gem of Sidorak, which allows him to select a person to be his avatar, enhancing them to become the indestructible and immortal Juggernaut, like Kane Marco and the other avatars. Now, if you pay close attention to the magic wielders in the Marvel Universe, particularly Doctor Strange, you will hear them invoking Sidorak's name to cast some of their strongest spells. For example, the Crimson Bands of Sidorak. He doesn't really show up a lot in the pages of Marvel Comics, but when he does, it's always as this super imposing, terrible force.
And finally, coming in at the number 1 spot, well, it only made sense to have this below everyone else, the one below all. Yeah, Kinda hard to top that. The one below all is the dark side of the one above all, the highest form of creation in the Marvel multiverse. If the one above all is the embodiment of all the compassion and love that exists out there, well then the one below is the opposite of that and the beautiful embodiment of all the hatred and rage that's inside us all. It's a bit of an eldritch creature, existing in the lowest points of reality, you know, below all, quite literally, it's in the name. It's responsible for all the gamma radiation in the world, as this is how it manifests itself throughout the multiverse. All of Hulk's rage and anger stems from drops of hatred of the one below all, just a tiny fraction of what it could be capable of. The one below all has existed before the multiverse, the universe itself even, and is thought to ultimately be the harbinger of all evil that's ever manifested in the Marvel universe. Considering how much darkness, how much hate, how much evil exists out there, that's gotta count for something. Mephisto was unable to thwart the one below all, saying it was more powerful than he was. Bruce Banner theorized that no, God of the Symbiotes was just another avatar of the one below all, meaning when it comes to ultimate evil, it's kinda hard to top something below it all.
Number 10, Medieval Spawn. Okay, I'm gonna come out right and say this. I know nothing about Spawn. I did not watch the show and I have never really read the comics. I really have no right to be standing here in front of you talking about him, but I'm doing it anyways. I'm gonna be talking about Medieval Spawn today. Naturally, Medieval Spawn was not only a hellspawn, but also a knight living in 16th century England. If you think about it, knights were almost like medieval superheroes with tales and stories all of their own. Sir John of York fought during a civil war in England, but was released from his service to Henry II after he and 3 other knights mistook the king's anger for orders and went and took the life of the Archbishop of Canterbury. Once the knight passed on to the afterlife at the hands of his king's bodyguards, he was sent to hell for his crimes, where he made a deal with Male Bolgia and returned as a hellspawn. He then went around England committing good deeds in the hopes of redeeming himself, but he continues to survive after being basically bonded to his armor and not possessing anyone who chooses to don his helmet. I should probably start reading Spawn, it actually sounds kind of cool.
At number 9 is E-Man. E-Man is a truly peculiar hero forged in the comic crucible who embodies the timeless allure of unconventional superheroes. Hailing from a bygone era of comic book legends, E-Man radiates an unmistakable charisma. Born out of pure energy, his cosmic odyssey spanned galaxies and eons, drawing knowledge from the very fabric of the universe. On Earth, he assumed the identity of Electron, with his emblem being a subtle nod to Einstein's iconic equation. E-Man would later cross paths with Nova Kane, a dancer and scholar whose luminous presence matched his own, and together, they confronted cosmic perils with powers that defied the laws of physics. We're talking energy eruptions, form shifting, and unbridled imagination. Yet, Nova's abilities danced in harmony with their ever-evolving narrative. Now, despite the series' fleeting existence, might I say, E-Man remains renowned as one of the wittiest heroes in comic book history. Perhaps I'm not alone for my yearning for a reboot with an E-girl leading the way? Just me? Okay, just me.
If you're enjoying the video so far, you can support the channel by pressing like and subscribing to Top 10 Nerd, and maybe ringing that notification bell if you want it. Number 8, Witchblade. The Witchblade is actually the offspring of the universe's primal forces, the Angelus or the Light, and the Darkness. To avert mutual destruction, a truce was struck between these two forces, and the Angelus and the Darkness consummated, and in so doing, they conceived the Witchblade, creating peace and balance between them. Now, while most people think of Sarah Pazzini when they think of the Witchblade, Sarah was not the only one to wield the blade, and in fact, was by far the first. One of the oldest Witchblade wielders was actually Samantha. Samantha hails from ancient Roman times, though she herself is not Roman, but instead was a native of an old Celtic town that they overtook named Sicilia. Samantha was captured but would eventually escape and end up running into druids out in the countryside who believed that she was the one who would be destined to save the other Celts from the Romans. She was given the Witchblade and would set out on a mission to destroy all Romans. Lovely. While a hero, I would definitely say that her morals are a bit more complex, which is what makes Witchblade hosts like her so interesting in the first place.
At number 7 is the Eternal Warrior. Valiant Comics introduces us to Gilad Anipada, the Eternal Warrior. Unlike typical caped crusaders, Gilad's tale is one of immortality and ceaseless dedication. Bestowed with eternal life, Gilad has honed his skills over millennia. He's become a master of combat, wielding centuries of experience science as his weapon. But his role goes beyond mere physical prowess. See, Gilad's mission is to safeguard the Geomancer, a mystical guardian chosen by the Earth itself. Geomancers are not your everyday heroes. They're in tune with our very planet with the power to commune with nature.
Number 6, Ogon Bat. Okay, Ogon Bat is a unique and pretty cool character in his own right, but what makes him even cooler is that he was actually one of the world's first ever superheroes ever, even technically coming before Superman. Originating from Japan as the god of justice and protector of the weak, his origin is that he was originally an Atlantean who was sent forward in time 10,000 years to defend the modern world from evil. He wields a scepter that fires bolts of energy, causes many earthquakes, and slices through steel. He himself was immortal, could fly, breathe underwater, had X-ray vision, and possessed superhuman strength, speed, and invulnerability to bullets and lasers. He was summoned by a little girl who would call on him, causing a sparkle to appear around, which then turned into a bat, and then turned into the hero when it found its enemy. While he initially started as a comic, he also has a TV show that appeared in several different countries around the world. And I think he looks really cool.
Number 5 is Arion. Arion is a figure often overshadowed by the more celebrated heroes of our time. Born to the cosmic forces of good and strife, Arion emerged as a Lord of Order, a manifestation of righteousness incarnate. His twin brother, Garn Danuth, embodied chaos, setting the stage for an eternal struggle between order and disorder. But it was Arion who shone the brightest in the annals of Atlantis, a prominent sorcerer king and scientist, a true polymath of his era. He stood as a beacon of hope, a paragon of virtue, and the very first hero of Atlantis. Yet beyond Atlantis, his legacy extends to the Amazons, etching his name into the tapestry of time as a hero unparalleled in ancient lore.
Number 4, Anthro. Created by Howard Post, Anthro is considered the first boy on Earth, existing in prehistoric times. He lived with his family during a period when the world was still in its primal stages. Anthro's curiosity and adaptability drove him to explore the challenges and mysteries of a world populated by both primitive creatures and nascent human tribes. Through his adventures, Anthro unwittingly played a significant role in shaping humanity's development and survival, often making use of his ingenuity and courage to overcome obstacles, while also being part of some modern-day stories thanks to time travel. He has popped up in Crisis on Infinite Earths, Armageddon 2001, Zero Hour, Team 13, and even Final Crisis, and even been to the Marvel Universe where he interacted with Devil Dinosaur. Anthro's narrative explores the struggle for survival, the emergence of intelligence, and the foundations of human civilization itself. His story reflects the essence of human curiosity, resilience, and the quest for progress, serving as a symbol of humanity's earliest steps into the unknown. His powers are, well, pretty much non-existent. He doesn't really have any. He's just a person who's really smart and creative. But he has played a part in some big events and in more than just the background kind of way.
At number 3 is Gilgamesh. Now, the legend of Gilgamesh, a name echoing through the annals of time, transcending the boundaries of myth and history as the king of Uruk, a city-state nestled in the cradle of Mesopotamia. His story, carved into the very clay tablets of ancient Sumer, is a testament to human ambition and the quest for immortality. But what if I were to tell you that Gilgamesh's legacy may have transcended mere mortals? Enter the Forgotten One, a mysterious figure shrouded in the myths of time. A wanderer, a warrior, he bore the mantle of Gilgamesh, among many others, including Hercules, as if plucking stories from the pages of mythology itself. The Forgotten One, aka Gilgamesh's exile from the Eternals, his kingdom in Olympus, and his ultimate call to battle against the deviants bear a striking resemblance to the epic journey of Gilgamesh. Is it a mere coincidence, or could there be a deeper connection between these timeless narratives? The mysteries of the past continue to unravel, revealing the intricate tapestry of human history and its intersections with the world of myth and legend.
Number 2, Etrigan. Etrigan the demon was the firstborn of Belial, who was such a handful that Belial exiled Etrigan's mother to Masak Mabdil and told his son that his antics drove her away. That's rough. His antics ended up even driving Belial out of hell for several decades, returning with another son born of a mortal witch named Merlin. Etrigan was originally summoned to Earth to serve Merlin in a desperate final attempt to protect Camelot from the evil witch Morgana Le Fay. Merlin bound the demon to a mortal peasant named Jason, while Merlin went into hiding to rest, and these two lived a very long and brutal life together throughout history. Basically, how it would go is that Etrigan incited war and strife, and in return, Jason gained wealth and status. Not a horrible idea for some people. Despite sharing the same body though, the demon and his host are usually at odds with each other, and Jason Blood retains a lot of guilt based on Etrigan's demonic actions, which I think played a part in him being a bit more heroic, or as heroic as a demon can be, I guess.
And at number 1 is Beowulf, a legendary Gadish king who truly embodies an ancient superhero who defies the test of time. His 50-year reign was marked by epic battles, but it was the confrontation with the dragon guarding the Holy Grail's secrets that ultimately sealed his fate. Intriguingly, James Allison, a character with the ability to recall past incarnations, speculated that these heroic exploits might be embedded in our collective memory, hinting at a deeper connection between myth and reality. If you're wondering who that dude is, it's just some guy who can see past lives, no big deal. Anyways, Marvel Comics added a unique twist to Beowulf's tale, suggesting that he survived his dragon battle and re-emerged as an immortal warrior in the modern age. This reincarnated hero engaged in friendly rivalries with figures like Theseus and joined forces with Hercules to confront new gods. Beowulf's timeless narrative serves as a testament to the enduring appeal of ancient superheroes, reminding us that their legends continue to captivate, transcending generations and even reality itself.